International Airport. It's one of the stories we'll be taking a look at this morning. Reactions have been following the lifting of state of emergency in that state. The sole administrator is reacting to what the State House of Assembly said in its first sitting post state of emergency. Remember, the State House of Assembly had said they would probe the 6 months state of emergency, but the now ex-sole administrator Ibas is kicking against that move, saying nobody has the power to probe him. Well, away from Rivers, we'll also be taking a look at what is happening in the ADC. We understand that the issue of factionalization of the party is not over yet, as another faction has faulted INEC for recognizing David Mark's faction, and this faction has actually instituted a case in a federal high court. The CJN, Chief Justice of Nigeria, would inaugurate 57 new senior advocates of Nigeria today as the Supreme Court marks new legal year. We'll come to Abia, where the state government has banned the use of traditional birth attendants. And the last story this morning would come out of Enugu, where APC stakeholders in that state have threatened protest over attempts to block Governor Mbah's defection. All these are on our Facebook page, facebook.com/MagicFMNG. Check us out on Instagram at MagicFM Nigeria. Thank you for joining us once again.
To start off this morning, Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara Friday arrived Port Harcourt, the state capital. Is the capital of Rivers State, by the way. The governor arrived the Port Harcourt International Airport at about 12:19 p.m. Friday, which was September 19. He was greeted by a crowd of supporters who had earlier converged at the VIP wing of the Port Harcourt International Airport, awaiting his arrival. Fubara appreciated his followers and Rivers people for the massive show of love.
Let me first of all appreciate the wonderful people of Rivers State. I am really humbled by what I saw at the airport. I was also briefed with some photographs of what happened here yesterday. That reception really humbled me. It showed love, confidence, and solidarity.
Fubara and his deputy Ngozi Udu had been away from the government of the state for 6 months after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu imposed a state of emergency on the state on March 18, citing political crisis.
Well, we say welcome back to Governor Simi Fubara. His followers, his fans, they waited for him the day before Friday. Unfortunately, they did not get to see him. So his private jet touching down on Friday at the Port Harcourt International Airport painted a picture that the man was not even in the state. All this why that he had to take a leave, go far away from the state, probably for his own mental health. But he's back, and I saw him taking a trip around the government house. His facial expression suggested that he wasn't impressed with what he saw. But the thing is, the 6 months is up. It is now left for Governor Fubara to pick up the baton from where he left it and ensure that whatever the Rivers people may have lost within those 6 months, he should try as much as he can to do some catching up for them. Governance indeed suffered. Is it going to be easy? The answer is no. Because as far as I'm concerned, Fubara is more or less a sitting duck, powerless, toothless bulldog. Most of the things that make governors influential have been taken away from him. Telos emerged without him, the local government chairman emerged without him, other appointees. The man in charge of RCEC right now is not loyal to him. So most of the appointees, most of the appointments he was supposed to make to curry loyalty and some amount of influence have been taken away from him. Let's also not forget that why the State House of Assembly sat for the first time that Thursday, they did ask him to present a list of commissioners. So we are waiting to see what his list of commissioners would look like. Is he going to reach out to his SY godfather, Nyesom Wike, to say, okay, Oga, now that we have peace, out of 15 would-be commissioners, bring 5? Or are we going to see a situation whereby, just like we saw before the state of emergency, most of the commissioners that he was working with were practically forced down his throat by his SY godfather, Nyesom Wike? So these are some of the things we are looking forward to. But in all of these, he should realize that governance actually paused, was halted. So there is need for him to pick up the speed and do some catching up.
Well, some people, last week we did use several not too savory words to describe the situation in Rivers State. Today, maybe in one single sentence, one can say what you have there is a silence of the graveyard. And how to sustain this silence and amidst all of these be able to bring about development with the kind of energy he came up with will be left to be seen, because obviously there'll be distractions. Obviously he must be looking to his back, to his front, before even taking decisions that are gubernatorial in the first place. But again, some people also say that no matter how good a telephone is, if you don't insert a SIM, it may not function. And so the SIM card is back. Let's see if it can be inserted in the SIM. There'll be a whole lot of stock taking to be done. He talked about his moving around, not being impressed from his countenance. We also heard about how many bags of rice that went missing. A whole lot had happened. But in all honesty, things will be unfolding as the days pass by, because for Fubara is like starting all over again, but this time on one foot, if you ask me. Except, of course, if Wike was going by his word and his action while he was being interviewed on a television channel, that he has no right to go and dictate to the governor. He has no right to go and do this. Yeah, but he had said it before, even while he was governor himself, that if he left, he would leave everything for whoever succeeded him and would not interfere. But that changed. Of course, the Cancerous Party is now the party with milk and honey. And there's a whole lot that you can talk about. But honestly, like I've said, I'm observing a mini blackout for the Wikis of this world.
Indeed. Well, still talking Rivers State, the immediate past sole administrator of that state, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, retired. And the Rivers State House of Assembly may be gearing up for a showdown following the Assembly's decision to probe the state's expenditure over the last few months under Ibas. The Rivers State House of Assembly, presided over by the Speaker Martin Amaule during its first plenary after the end of emergency rule, said it would investigate the state expenditure during the 6 months of emergency. Reacting to the House of Assembly's move to probe expenditure under his tenure, Ibas said the lawmakers lacked the power to investigate him, pointing out that they did not appoint him as the sole administrator of the state. Ibas, while answering questions through his senior special advisor media, Hector Ibekuobo, on Sunday, said it was understandable that having been away from the business of legislation for a while, the lawmakers were merely trying to make an effort to discharge their functions. He, however, described the lawmakers' resolve as commentary, adding that the attempt to probe the former administrator was tantamount to probing the president, who appointed him, as well as the National Assembly, which supervised the activities of Ibas as the state administrator, as he then was. According to his spokesman, while nobody could prevent the Assembly from probing what they perceived to be their functions within the state, the attempt to probe the immediate past administrator of the state would be a fool's errand.
Well, last week we heard about the House of Representatives in particular, muting the idea of, some bills which may become laws if passed to whittle down the powers of the president and even that of the governor. And I say, wow, can it happen in Nigeria? The reason I exclaimed was because governors, presidents are too powerful in this country. The only reason Annie Bass can speak this way is because he takes his orders from, a President Tinubu. And as a matter of fact, you can't build something on nothing, because democratically, there was no government in Rivers State in the last 6 months. Now that Sim Fubara is back, indeed, there is government. And so, because that was an aberration, like we had categorized all military governments of the past, this as well can be an aberration. And they are not answerable to anyone, if you ask me, unless to themselves. And if the president is indeed the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, and the military man ruled for 6 months in a democratic setting, those 6 months for me are just a mere vacuum, whereby it was an aberration, and Ibas should not be seen as being answerable to anyone. Ideally, he should. But again, even in the typical democratic setting, if we can call what we have a democracy, since 1999, we've had governors who were alleged to have corruptly enriched themselves to the tune of trillions. Have they ever been, dealt with, even judicially or legally? Some of them, like we often say, have been governors, they have been senators, they have been appointed as ministers. I think some would have even become ambassadors. And I ask myself, what image of the country will such people, post out there? So it is not a military man that you want to bring on board. Let EFCC tell us today, if all those people who have found their ways back into the corridors of power, who have been alleged, whose cases are still in court, live in court, have been, told to come and give account finally of everything. Only the Desiani Allisons of this world, because he chose to run away, maybe if he was around and she made a plea bargain, maybe she would have been free as well. What about Madam Peace, whose husband people are taunting to come back? Patience Jonathan. I just have to be specific here because we know the stories. So for Ibas, because he was indeed answerable to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president, who is also the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, and he's a military man, because at that level of the military, they say you don't retire. You only go to the reserve. You can be recalled. I've been told. I used to live in the damn barracks too. So he said the right thing. It was Tinubu who told him to prepare his handover note. It wasn't the State Assembly. And when he finished, I want to believe that he handed over to Mr. President. Don't forget also that while he was leaving, there was no Simi Fubara to take over from him. He left on Thursday, if not Wednesday. Sim was being awaited on Thursday. He never showed up, only to arrive on Friday. So he never gave, and so he cannot receive. The State Assembly didn't give, they didn't appoint him, they had no say, they didn't screen him, so they can't expect anything from him. You can't build something on nothing. Simple.
Well, for me, the money being talked about here belongs to Rivers people. And we're not talking about 1 naira. If you take a look at the federal allocation that accrued to Rivers State within the 6 months, we are looking at over 254 billion naira within 6 months. Over 254 billion naira. So, for Ibas to sound this way is quite unfortunate. You cannot hold a public office and run away from accountability. The people of Rivers, through their representatives in the State House of Assembly, are saying, Oga, within the 6 months that you were in charge, we need explanation. How did you disburse and spend these 254 billion naira? Over, I'm just talking about the FARC here. By the time you add the IGR and others, you will begin to have a sense of how much that Rivers people lost within the 6 months. But unfortunately, this is Nigeria, where ideal things that work in other places do not work here. Already you could hear Ibas throwing the name of the president, mentioning the name of the president in order to cajole the lawmakers from not doing their job. Will the lawmakers be bold enough to investigate Ibas? The answer is no. I don't see that happening. Let's be realistic. This is Nigeria. I'm sure as we speak, Bonnie, calls would have been made. Even the Nyesom Wike would not allow that to happen because he knows the implication. The only person that can order for a probe right now is President Bola Tinubu. Not even the House of Representatives committee that was set up to manage the situation in Rivers State, the ad hoc committee. They cannot do that. Whatever they want to do, they would look at the countenance of Mr. President before doing anything. Unfortunately, that is our reality. The lawmakers will eventually allow this thing to die a natural death because the powers that be wouldn't want their dirty linen to be washed in public.
Well, even the president himself knows the implication of asking for a probe. Ibas has put it succinctly there that they have no right. Somebody appointed him and he was responsible to the person. No more, no less. I think these people should just, pick up from wherever.
Exactly.
And then if there was any wound, which of course was to the Rivers people, let them find how to heal it. And to be able to heal it is to ensure that there is sustained peace. Coming today, and you're asking the governor who had not even come to present a budget.
List of commissioners.
I think it's initial gragra. They were cold, they are now feeling warm. The fact of the matter is that we had a situation before when the Oputa panel was set up. A certain Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida refused to come there, to come and testify to anything. Even when the then president of the country, Olusegun Obasanjo, was there, he refused and nothing happened. So if Ibas too says no, why not? Because if all the, like I said, just to repeat myself, all the military rules in this country can be summarized as an aberration, not recognized. Except where it suits us, then we begin to mention, okay, like politicians will say today, they're not as rude for how many times. Why would you be in a democracy and you talk about, military people that are rude, whether they are from the north or east or west? Let's talk about democracy. It's a new beginning. It's a new phase altogether. So Ibas should go, and I think I said this much on Thursday. He should just go. Let's have a new Rivers. Fubara himself should be a man. It's not going to be easy for him to find his feet, obviously. But even the members of the House of Representatives of Assembly, maybe the next step is for them to join the APC because they had gone and returned, and the courts, even when there were allegations to that effect, and then of course deposited in the bank in the courts, the courts refused to mention it today. But Nigerians knew that those people left for the APC. Now that they are back fine and good, are they going to remain in the PDP and be working for the APC? More so that all the chairmen, except two, are from APC, and their godfather, the obvious godfather, is working for the APC. He would deny it, though, that he's not working for the APC.
No, he has not denied.
No.
Okay.
He said he's not working for the APC, but he's working for President Bola Tinubu.
Okay.
So when you talk about the head, I don't talk about the tail, then you are just telling us that everybody else is a bunkum. Anyway, Rivers will always be in the news. When Amici was there, and big news for every day, just like Ekiti State when Peter Ayodele Fayose was there. I don't know any other state that had a very controversial governor again, but so for time, let's just leave it at that. We go on a break now. Where we'll be back. Stay with us. It's People and Politics.
In the kitchen game, there are players and then Agba Ballers. MVP, Player of the Year, 10-0, no rival. Become an Agba Baller with the new improved Maggi chicken flavor, made with a flavorful formation of onions, celery, turmeric to bring out your top game in the kitchen. Elevate the taste of your everyday dishes with delicious rich chicken flavor. Oh yeah, let's go.
New Maggi chicken flavor, my game changer. MTN Mega Billion Promo nọ ebe a site Monday ruo Saturday n'elekere 7 nke mgbede. Ọtụtụ ndị Naijiria ga-enwe ike mere nke ukwuu. Ịbanye bụ naanị ka ịpịnye star 900 hash n'ekwentị MTN gị. Ka ọ bụla itinyere ruru 100 naira ma nke karịrị ya ga-agụnyere gị ma mụbaa gị ohere ndaba mmeri. Tinye ego n'ekwentị gị taa ma merie n'ego ndende. Usoro na ọnọdụ nọkwa. Gaa na www.mtn.ng maka nkọwa ndị ọzọ. Promo a ga-adị ruo ụbọchị 21 n'ọnwa Septemba.
Supreme noodles boom boom, supreme noodles boom boom. Sit up, supreme noodles. Supreme noodles boom boom, supreme noodles boom boom. Sit up, supreme. Just sit up, supreme noodles. It go spark up your mood. So delicious, so tasty. Young and old them love it. Spring it chewy with better aroma. Rich with real chicken essence. Supreme noodles boom boom, supreme noodles boom boom. Sit up, supreme noodles. Supreme noodles boom boom, supreme noodles boom boom. Sit up, supreme noodles with real chicken essence. Supreme noodles boom boom. Sit up, supreme noodles.
Osalobua. Baba, make you help me, oh. Make I dey shine my eyes. Make my enemies no see me, oh. Even when I dey sleep, make I no lose guard, oh. Baba, in short, just dey help me stay alert. As Airtel, they alert me anytime Yahoo people send spam message to take scam me, oh.
At Airtel, we have taken proactive steps to keep you safe from every spam activity with Airtel News Spam Alert service. Powered by AI, it scans text in real time with no app or setup needed. Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Sharon, Naija. That's right. This government is putting smiles on the faces of Nigerians with the increased minimum wage that has made life easier for all workers. 4 landmark bills giving less tax to the poor and easy tax for all. Ongoing federal government road projects that are moving the nation forward. CNG initiative that has helped millions of Nigerians and motorists to cut costs. Loan and credit schemes for thousands of businesses. More communities that are now safer and more secure across the nation. Student loan scheme for thousands of Nigerian students. Nigeria has never had it so good with a government committed to making life better for all. Renewing hopes and rebuilding Nigeria. We are rebuilding the nation. Rebuilding Nigeria. Renewing hopes. Renewing hopes. Rebuilding Nigeria. Powered by Citizen Connect Initiative.
Ịtụ ndụ mmanụ na-amasị m. Ya mere m jiri na-eri nri akwọrọ aka sie nke na-edozi ahụ. N'ime ite ji porridge m tinyecha azụ, ntinye yabasị, ose na ogo. Tupu m tinyezie nut cube nke ga-ewepụta ọmarịcha ụtọ dị na nri m ka ọ bụrụ eri amịcha aka. Ndị be anyị chetanụ na nke onye riri ka o buo. Tinye akwụkwọ nri na-ama pokopoko na nri gị niile. Werezie nut cube mee ya ka ọ bụrụ eri amịcha aka. Rie nri na-edozi ahụ taa.
It's the choices you make that set you apart from being good to being great. My choice? Nivea Men Deep Body Lotion with Max Tech. Powered by Black Carbon. Gives you both dark wood fragrance and 48-hour moisture. And my other top choice for all-day freshness. Nivea Men Deep Roll-On for 72-hour protection and fragrance with Max Tech. Powered by Black Carbon. Skin is for playing it smart. Nivea is for skin.
Babe, I am so sorry. I know I was wrong. I promise I will never do it again.
Don't let low airtime block your romance. Buy a new MTN SIM to enjoy 2,100 Naira in airtime for 2 months. And with MTN Beta Gist, you'll get 3 minutes extra for every 6-minute call you make. MTN Beta Gist is also available to all existing customers. To join, simply dial *123*2*1# or text PG to 312. T's and C's apply. MTN, what are we doing today?
Attention! All the 17 local government area health workers in Abia State who have been wondering why only the nurses were paid the new health salary structure called CONHES, leaving other health professionals like lab scientists, optometrists, CHUs, environmental health officers, etc. on old salaries. Note that on the 1st of May, Governor Alex Oti pronounced to pay all the health workers in Abia State the new medical package. To this end, The 17 branch medical and health chairmen in the 17 local government areas have issued warning strike that if September salaries is being paid to the nurses alone and leaving other medical workers, there will be strike in the health sector. Signed, Ezekelechi Hyacinth, medical and medical chairman, Isialangwa South.
People and politics, providing the alternative voice within the democratic space.
Oh yes, we're still here as People and Politics. The crisis within the opposition African Democratic Congress ADC has deepened as the Nofio Wombe-led faction has threatened legal action against the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC over what it describes as the Commission's premature and biased recognition of the David Mark-led group. The faction accused INEC of disregarding a pending court case challenging the legitimacy of the David Mark leadership and going ahead to accord it official recognition. In a communique issued after an emergency joint meeting of the National Working Committee NWC and the National Executive Committee NEC in Abuja, National Chairman Wombe condemned INEC's action, alleging it undermined the party's leadership structure and threatened Nigeria's democratic foundation. The communique noted that INEC's decision to upload the David Mark-led faction on its official portal raises significant question about the Commission's neutrality and credibility. While urging members to remain calm and united, the faction vowed not to allow the ADC to be hijacked by what it described as idle politicians seeking refuge for their personal ambitions. According to the ADC, such divisions and opportunism have contributed to Nigeria's current economic downturn, insecurity, and entrenched corruption, which continue to erode public trust in governance. The party therefore confirmed it has filed a suit at the Federal High Court against INEC and those it described as desperate politicians seeking to overrun and overturn the recognition and restore the party's mandate.
Interesting times ahead for the ADC. Well, some of us had said from day one that the coalition will not find it easy. This is part of politicking. Those who are not in your camp would always look for banana peels. Get 9-11 trailer load of banana peels and pour for you to sleep. That's exactly what is happening. Before now, where were these people? As we speak, at least 2 persons are laying claims to be the national chairman of the ADC. Where were these people when Nwosu was recognized as the authentic chairman of the ADC? There wasn't really much challenge after the 2023 election. I think since Nwosu emerged, it's been a peaceful reign in the ADC. But as soon as the coalition chose ADC as their SPV, that's the special purpose vehicle, we started seeing all manner of people springing up from different quarters, claiming to be the authentic faction, to be the authentic leadership. I think a time, or we have actually gotten to that time, not a time should come, where we should have a law against political opportunists who take advantage of things like this, foment trouble, cause chaos, all in the name of making money. People continue towing this line because in the past, nobody has been punished. You just cannot wake up one morning and claim you are the chairman or you are a military man. You cannot wake up one morning and say you are the GOC of 82 Division and you start challenging the GOC. Why do we allow these kind of things to play out in political parties? So I'm hoping that the lawmakers will take a look at the law, the electoral laws, and find a way to tackle things like this. Otherwise, it will keep happening. In Abia State, we saw how Don Norman, the state chairman of the party, who, against all odds, right from 2021-2022, stood with the ADC. All of a sudden, because the ADC became the beautiful bride, people from different quarters started fighting him. Where were these people before now? That's the question.
Ben, when you said where were they before, it reminded me of a joke when we ask what is the difference between where were you and you were where? Where were they? They were where? Big question. This simply reminds me of the Labour Party. The Labour Party has always been there, had even been fragmented into Labour Party and Zenith Labour Party, just like we had APGA and UPGA.
That's right.
But when Peter Obi entered Labour Party and gave it all the paraphernalia, all the publicity and popularity, everybody went into Labour Party. I can assure you today that if Peter Obi had won the election, those who came and tested their fortunes in the Labour Party, never got them, and then reverted to where they were or elsewhere, they would have remained put.
That's right.
In Labour Party. Yes, they would have remained. Indeed, where were these people when nobody could ever, or people could hardly remember the party ADC? Only a few, like the Don Normans of this world that we just mentioned, remained steadfast with the party. But today, because of big names, the Atikus of this world, the David Marks of this world, the Tambuwals of this world, even though Tambuwal is still not there fully, but of course from what he says, you should know he's there. And then talk about the Aregbesolas and many others, because they've come to inflate the party, giving it a new party, a new color and a new energy. Those who were taciturn, those who were, bystanders and onlookers, or do we call them sit-down looks? They've dusted their political shoes, given them to Malam, even those who are from Niger or Chad, who claim to be Nigerians living with us here, to shine the shoes for them. And they are parading the place, telling us about, I am the chairman, you are not the chairman. Before the David Mark-led ADC came on board, there had been talks about which party would these individuals move to. They talked about one other party until
Ada.
Oh, thank God! I said me I no go name my pikin Ada. Ada was supposed to be a fresh one though.
That's right.
And then another party, but now they settled for the ADC. Even the ADC did not just come out of the blues. There were talks about it. Where were these people? And what is making them to think that, because we have these big names in ADC, suddenly ADC will win the 2027 election? El-Rufai, okay, he's there. Do you think just because these big shots are there, these are people who have contested many, many times, some of them. Even the David Mark you're talking about, he's my uncle, but we know the fight between him and young Alaji in Benue South for the Senate right from 1999. Even when the young boy Daniel Onji came and stood against him, it was a big fight. But for the fact that he was a big cat, he could always win. There was a time that against young Alaji, or is it Daniel Onji, technically they said the number of days required for the case to be adjudicated had elapsed. So not all of them have the political powers that you're thinking about. And we're looking at the presidency, for instance, which is the target of the big shots anyway, to push Tinubu out. What is their presence like across the country? What is their national spread? So those who have become so ambitious suddenly, it reminds me of an Abure as well in Labour Party. And a Papa came over for Labour Party. Where were they? And they were where? Before Peter Obi came on board. Where were they? They were where? I think it's interesting. We'll be watching.
Well, let's talk legal matters now. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekerekun, will today, on Monday, September 29, swear in 57 new senior advocates of Nigeria. The ceremony is part of programs lined up to formally mark the 2025-2026 legal year of the court. It is expected to hold at the main courtroom of the Apex Court. This was disclosed in a statement released yesterday by the Supreme Court's Director of Information and Public Relations Festus Akonde in Abuja. Well, according to Akonde, all the programs outlined to mark the formal commencement of the new legal year will start at 10 a.m.
Senior Advocate of Nigeria. I recall when our Big Daddy, Gani Fawahimi, was called Senior Advocate of the Masses. Well, and I think the advocates in Nigeria, they are becoming a mass, by the way.
That's
so
right.
many of them. Well, what are you learned? Are you learned?
Not at all.
When you are talking about the learned ones, you have to be very careful because they will put it to you. So we can only say congratulations ahead. And to become a senior advocate, seriously, is not a small thing.
That's right.
I have friends who have gotten to the level, won cases, have become very prominent, done everything that was required to become a SAN. It was not really coming. There was a time they said even this SANship has been politicized, just like we have, the law schools in Nigeria. When law school, Ozumba Mbadiwe on Victoria Island was law school, it was a big do to be in law school. Suddenly, whether for political reasons, they said, no, let's decentralize law schools. And so you have not just in Lagos anymore, you have in Abuja, in Buhari, you have in Yenagua, you have in Enugu. I think, what that kind of market, I don't know. What about the chartered institutes? I don't want to be naming them because they are professionals, Naden Sabi. We have one that was there that if you become chartered, you have, the cocoa. Suddenly we have another one, they say for political reasons. And the other one, they say, that one is domiciled in the north, the headquarters. That one is easier to pass. So then talk, I know for that professional. All right, but seriously speaking, let's congratulate them. But if merit is the reason, fine and good. I think every lawyer would want to become a SAN, just like every soldier, if possible, would become a general and all that. Like me now, if it is possible, I will have a media conglomerate. So everybody has an ambition, isn't it?
That's right.
So congratulations to them. 29th is the day.
Indeed. Well, congratulations. Like you rightly pointed out, the numbers are swelling by the day. Today you have so many senior advocates of Nigeria. I just want to believe and hope that the increments would not water down the prestige that comes with that class of lawyers. Also, beyond the prestige of adding SAN to your name as a learned one, is there any way to checkmate certain overbearing attitude on the part of some of these persons? We've seen situations whereby you would approach a lawyer, a senior advocate at that, and say, okay, this is the matter beforehand. This is the challenge that I have. And the person from his experience knows that taking this matter to court would amount to nothing. But just to make money, to milk you, the person will still advise you, now small matter, don't worry. As soon as we do this, we do that, it's a done deal. You would win. And you end up doling money, you keep doling out money until you get tired. Or if grace is on your side, the judge would throw out the matter. So I'm hoping that beyond, the recognition, there should be some form of in-house checks and balances. Let it not be the courts that would pronounce some form of punitive measure like we saw with Ozekome, who advised somebody to go present or challenge the decision of the Supreme Court before the Supreme Court. It took the Supreme Court justices to say no, that this is an aberration. And being a senior lawyer, a senior advocate of Nigeria, you ought not to have done this.
Hefty fine.
Exactly, he was punished accordingly.
Ben, telling senior advocates not to take cases like saying, make them no chop.
Well, they can make money by advising.
I'll give you an analogy now. Beyond law, there is business.
True.
There is survival. And I'll give you two instances again where someone who sells alcohol is in church, and the preacher says, don't drink alcohol, and the man get up and say, objection, pastor.
You don't want me to.
But the offering that I do in this church, the tithes that I pay, and all the other relationship now from this alcohol where they sell, pastor, objection. That is one. I recall when my father died, and I think I repeated it when my mother died not too long ago, recently. We went to where they sold coffins, and then they started telling me, this one is beautiful, this one is befitting of your mom, this one is fantastic, decorations is befitting of your dad. And I say, no, all of them, they go
6 feet.
So give me the one that is not so beautiful, that my mom can just go in and go and rest. Big kono. Stop decorating. And they started laughing. And I said, no, you must have heard people who told you this before. Because I was a living man when I saw a pope die, and they used the packaging wood to bury him. I'm a living witness to multi-billionaires of the other religion being buried in loins like our fathers in Africa used to be, or used to do, until the white man came with the business sense. So in law too, there is business. In entertainment, there is entertainment, and then there's a business part of it. Otherwise, you keep entertaining and you're dying. Isn't it? In football, fantastic, but you also have the business part of it. So it goes on like that. But I think, yes, beyond business, there should be some advisories. I think this case cannot go this way. My younger person in Lagos, who was in secondary school right before me, went to the university before me, went to law school and became a lawyer. I had a case with some persons, and the persons were richer than me, Ben. And the young man told me when I approached him, see, I beg whatever they want to pay you, collect, because you don't have the financial power to face these people in court. They're going to get bigger lawyers. And that there is something called money time value. What you get for 100 naira today, you may not get it for 500 naira next month. It was a young boy on my street in Lagos who haven't gone to school, and a lawyer at that advised me, please take whatever they are giving you. Even if you go to court, you can't face them. So I think what you're saying is that senior advocates or lawyers, when they bring case, you know, I beg, just like they catch you kuru red-handed, you say guilty or not guilty. Lawyers will say, don't say you are guilty. Bobrisky said she was guilty, thinking that they would tamper justice with mercy. I said, anyway, Ben, we gotta move. Now, let's look at this quickly. As part of efforts to curb maternal mortality, Governor Alex Otti has announced a decisive ban on the use of traditional birth attendants and other uncertified practitioners, as anyone caught engaging in such would be arrested. Governor Otti, who stated this while functionalizing the Okuhumpa and Umenyere Alai primary health centers, both in Bende local government area, said the decision became necessary after a recent statistic showed that Nigeria contributed 29% of global maternal mortality due to unsafe childbirth practices. The governor, represented by the Health Commissioner, Professor Enoch Ogbonaya, while assuring that his administration would continue to drive excellence in healthcare service delivery and making it accessible to residents, also informed that his administration was considering incentives for birth attendants who prefer or rather refer pregnant women to certified facilities. He said that the newly equipped health centers had been made operational under the Project Equime initiative, adding that the remaining 8 was expected to follow within the week. Let's hear the commissioner.
That among the 172 local governments in Nigeria, are responsible for 55% of the maternal deaths. Nigeria contributes 29% to all maternal deaths in Nigeria, and every 7 minutes a woman dies. Alex Otti, one of the things identified in access to quality care. Traditional birth attendant and leave 172 3 local governments like Abia, like that bad class, and very soon onwere onye nwee problem ebe ọ na-amụ nwa anyị abịa mee arrest ndị niile nọ nkọ ọ bịa mee register mee health insurance ụmụ nwaanyị dị mee register delivery abụrụ free because ultramodern equipment n'ime ya.
All right. On his part, Special Advisor to the Governor on Media and Publicity, Ferdinand Ekeoma, said the community would ensure the facilities were protected. The Executive Secretary of Abia Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Ulu Kalu Ulu, and his counterpart at the State Health Insurance Agency, Dr. Chiedozie Egwanwu, urged residents to register under the state's community-based social health insurance scheme to access affordable health care. Also, Bende local government area mayor Uwabunkonyi Basi disclosed that 16 primary healthcare centers were being renovated in the area and urged residents to take ownership of the projects to secure their sustainability.
Well, this is quite commendable. The statistics reeled out by the commissioner was scary. If you take a look at how some women lose their lives in the process of birthing, in the process of bringing in new life into the world. So whatever that can be done to checkmate this is highly commendable. We cannot fold our hands and wait for Bill Gates to give us aid and grants. We cannot fold our hands and wait for USAID to come and help us when we can actually do things like this to help ourselves. For the outright ban on traditional birth attendants, I really have a problem with that. In other states, what some states did was to train these traditional birth attendants. I think training them, letting them understand the new ways of doing things would have been better than an outright ban. The truth is, there are some parts of Abia that people who reside in such areas do not have access to the primary healthcare centers. So they are left with the traditional birth attendants. If you ban these traditional birth attendants like the state government is talking about, I think it would end up complicating the issue. How about you train them, let's say 3 months, 6 months crash course? For me, would end up achieving a better birthing rate than an outright ban.
I got married in 1997. That's some 28 years ago, something like that. And at that point, fortunately for me, all my children were born in military hospitals. And the military ensured that, except for unavoidable reasons, you can't come with your wife. Otherwise, you must be there. The issue of checking your blood, your HIV status, and everything was performed on your wife and yourself. And while they are giving them, antenatal messages, you, the husband, you are listening firsthand, because you don't expect that your wife should be coming home. Of course, they did ask question as to whether it's the first, second, or third child. So it was, pertinent for first fathers and first mothers to be there. And I was a witness and part of all of these. During those antenatal messages, there were those who gave, the messages in the languages. After they spoke grammar, somebody will come and speak the traditional languages. Those who did not understand grammar and do not understand some of the languages used, they try to break it down as much as possible, or the husbands will tell them. So to think that you're going to, abolish it completely in the Nigeria that I know today, where even in the urban centers, people have to, do self-care medically by going to the next chemist, as we call them, because healthcare is very, very expensive. That is talking about the cost. Even in the cities, the bed attendants are also in the cities. There are women who do not go to the hospital until it will be a month or two, if not less, to gestation period. That's the delivery period, DOB they call it, date of birth. Now you talk about the far-flung areas where you don't even have food trucks there are people living in those places. Even in Abia State, because Abia is a case study here. Training is it. Sensitization is it. If these people could do it this many years, have you taken statistics like the commissioner was saying, which is disagreeable, because 7 in every minute, that means 8 in every hour on the average, nationwide. Haba, you get as it be. I think that was not well researched. So much as we are not encouraging, the shrewd way of doing it, those who are still very young, those who are in far-flung places, they can try to reach them, train them, where possible, give them some facilities. Even in Lagos, as I speak, there are far-flung areas of Ikorodu and Ijede and the rest of them. These people still operate, but they ensure that they look out for them and give them some basic knowledge about these things. And you know the funny thing about labor? Labor hardly comes during the daytime. That has been my experience. All my children, 4 for 5, I have 4 for 5 because the fourth one became a set of twins. All of them were born in the night. I don't know what is it with night and labor. Ben, don't tell me it's because the workshop. Don't tell me because the workshop for the labor is in the night too.
Functions at night.
I don't know. The workshop for the labor is in the night. That is why babies come at night mostly. Mostly from my own experience. I don't know about you. So, but indeed, beyond the jokes, most people, women, go into labor at night. Sometimes when we're children, you wake up in the morning and you see people around your mother's room, and what is happening? And there's a new baby. It's like a dream. We all ate together last night. So that is the kind of thing we have. So good things do not just come like that. They come gradually. There are methodologies for introducing that kind of thing, because for you to say that is to say that we have hospitals all over the place, and we don't have. That is the fact of it.
True.
Even in Abuja, there's an outcry today that there are not enough hospitals and doctors, and most of the doctors actually want to be in the cities, and those who have the wherewithal want to go abroad. The average doctor that will tell you I want to go to the rural area will never see. And I've seen where governors, in order to encourage teachers and doctors and professionals of that nature, have decided to pay them more just to encourage them to go there. So the government of Abia State should still tinker with that. Don't come with that military stance. Will be arrested. Make una tamper with it, because so much is happening.
Indeed.
Go and price a sachet of is it a sachet? Is that one a sachet? A card of paracetamol, and you will know what I'm talking about. Go and do ordinary BP check in the average pharmacy. You are paying 1,000 or 500 naira to do your BP check. There are teaching hospitals even in this Aba, where even if you are dying, if you don't pay to the last kobo, nothing will happen. They will watch you die unless you have paid before they will touch you. I have seen it in this Aba. So government, plenty they want to go do in this direction, because all fingers no equal, all knowledge no equal. All places are not urban centers. We just have to say it clearly, because we no go see red, color, and white for this program.
Okay, the last story before we go interactive this morning. The All Progressives Congress, APC stakeholders in Enugu State, have threatened to stage a protest in Abuja if attempts by some party leaders to block Governor Peter Mbah's defection to the ruling party continues. The stakeholders issued the warning over the weekend after a meeting in Enugu. They alleged that the Innovation, Science and Technology Minister Uche Naji was working against Mbah's expected move, urging him to concentrate on his national assignment instead. Among those at the meeting were former APC State Chairman Ben Wonye, retired Nigerian Ambassador to Ukraine Christian Ugu, immediate past Vice Chancellor Michael Okpara University of Agriculture Umudike Hilary Edoga, former governorship candidates Gaben Namani and Nike Mwoga Aisentungu and Juliet Ebo. Wonye stated that Mbah's defection would turn around APC's electoral misfortunes in Enugu State, insisting that the governor's performance had already won him the people's admiration.
Well, for the Umbas of this world, I hope it will not become like the Oboroway case in Delta, where he left the PDP for the APC, and he didn't know he was not going to an arena where he will be thoroughly welcomed. And I tell you that his popularity has not changed. If APC has the wherewithal from the center, because he is the incumbent in center, they may work in his favor if his ambition is to go for a second term. But I also know that there is someone who had been the APC that the Delta and say has worked for the party, and they will queue behind him, except for powers from the center. And Umba going to the APC, I assure you that those gladiators in the APC that they are mentioning as blocking him may not want, because if he comes indeed, he's going to inherit what they also have ambition for, and that is the governorship of the state. I don't see an Umba who would not want to go for a second term just because he has gone into the APC. And who tells Umba that he cannot win a second term, having won it through the eye of the needle this time round? He can still win, because in all honesty, people are pointing to Umba as working too hard. And I know one man who should know, and I'm going to ask him right now. Ben, tell us about Umba in Enugu State, because people say the guy is working.
Well, in terms of work, yes, but most of his projects are elitist, and unfortunately most of them will not stand the test of time. If you take a look at the Enugu Air, it's an elitist project. History, experience has shown that state governments should have no business running such a venture. Enugu State would not be the first to float an airline. People are always quick to point to Ibom Air, but they should also take a look at the papers of Ibom Air. Ibom Air operated for 4 years before making profits. So if you were to own a company, would you keep pumping money into that company for 4 years without making a kobo? It can only happen because it is government money. So you take a look at most of the projects the man is embarking on. They are not really projects that touch the common Enugu man, the average Enugu man. The average Enugu man is screaming that the governor is killing them with tax. That is the reality. Most of his projects, fine, on paper they appear nice, but how many Enugu people can go to Hotel Presidential today?
Conference center.
Exactly, that he rehabilitated. The cheapest room in Hotel Presidential is not less than 100,000 naira. The same Hotel Presidential that over time state government officials mismanaged. What is the guarantee that if Mban leaves the Lion Building tomorrow, it will not go down again?
So are you saying that he's not going the way of Sullivan, Chime, Buruburu? They created, constructed roads and all that.
You can't even compare Mba and Buruburu. If you're talking about comparison, Mba should be compared to the Sullivans, at least to an extent.
Okay.
Yes. But in terms of projects that touch the people directly, I think Sullivan lives in a world of his own. Yes. For Enugu people, the number one problem right now is water. And the governor realized that during the campaigns. He actually gave himself a timeline that within so time, water will be available to all parts of Enugu.
But I thought that is in the works and is going on speedily.
For how long? As we speak, the most populated part of Enugu, Abakpa, do not have water. So
and Abakpa is not too far from 9th Mile.
Exactly. So what are we talking about? Water still revolves around the big men area, the GRAs, some parts of independence layout, not even all.
Well, the crux of the matter is because we can talk about Enugu, but the political end of it is that although we've been hearing it, that Peter Umba would want to go to the APC, and the argument had been why. He fought tooth and nail, almost lost it, but got it, and if not that, we had to conduct some interviews here because of the privilege we have right now. On paper and from what we're hearing from afar, the man is way ahead of his peers in the governance of the states today. That notwithstanding, if that could, gel, I see him going for a second term without necessarily needing, power from the center. as erroneously said by some people who say it is important to belong to the center.
If you don't belong there, you won't get certain things.
But why? You are getting your FAC.
From
you are getting your everything.
That's it.
Because belonging to the center is self-praise, self-endorsement. You want to win just for yourself, but nothing that is due your state will not come.
Well, for Mba do not really need to join the APC for him to get it, or for him to get President Tinubu's backing. They've come a long way. When the man was sworn in, I don't think any governor visited President Bola Tinubu, at least amongst his peers in the south, the way Mba did. Mba was always in Aso Rock. The president gave him all the support, especially to fight insecurity then, the Monday sit at home and what have you. So he has this cordial personal relationship with Bola Tinubu, but I feel what is happening in Enugu is a situation whereby the governor is sending a message to certain persons in the PDP that Enugu, being the only PDP state in the southeast, is not happy with the way managers of that party has been treating the state. Look at Udo Okoye, the situation surrounding that. As we speak, it was Wike's man that is still operating as the secretary, organizing secretary of the party. So many issues around the PDP and the leadership. It appears Wike, who has one leg in the PDP and one leg out, still calls the shots in the southeast as far as the PDP is concerned, and the governor is not happy with that.
Well, politicians will play politics, but they don't want the politics to be played internally. Politics begin from within, and if you are beaten from within, it's a different ballgame altogether. You don't compare that to what is happening outside. Everybody wants to have a stake, and that is what is happening. But Peter Mba should look very well. That is all I want to say. But again, if animosity and acrimony is beckoning, make it just sit down where you do. That's my own. All right, we'll go on a break now, and when we return, we'll tell you, call 90, that is 0907 677 1029, 0916 988 1029, 0809 666 1029, and our social media handles are still on and working. Let's go on a break now. We'll be right back.
In game, you need a winning game plan. I'm not just talking about your fresh ingredients, utensils, or cooking skills. I'm talking about your choice of seasoning. My game plan is incomplete without Maggi chicken flavor. Made with a flavorful formation of onions, celery, turmeric, it's my game changer. Elevate the taste of your everyday dishes with delicious rich chicken flavor. Oh yeah, let's go.
New Maggi chicken flavor, my game changer.
MTN Mega Billion Promo nọ ebe a site Monday ruo Saturday n'elekere 7 nke mgbede. Ọtụtụ ndị Naịjirịa ga-enwe ike mere nke ukwuu. Ịbanye bụ naanị ka ịpịnye star 900 hash n'ekwentị MTN gị. Ka ọ bụla itinyere ruru 100 naira ma nke karịrị ya ga-agụnyere gị ma mụbaa gị ohere ndaba mmeri. Tinye ego n'ekwentị gị taa ma merie n'ego ndende. Usoro na ọnọdụ nọkwa. Gaa na www.mtn.ng maka nkọwa ndị ọzọ. Promo a ga-adị ruo ụbọchị 21 n'ọnwa Septemba.
Start your children's day with a great taste of Ovaltine, enriched with multi-nourishment, calcium, malt, and vitamin B12 to support learning and playtime. Ovaltine, smart choice for smart kids.
Supreme noodles boom boom, supreme noodles boom boom. Sit up, supreme noodles. Supreme noodles boom boom, supreme noodles boom boom. Sit up, supreme.
Just sit up, supreme noodles. It go spark up your mood. So delicious, so tasty. Young and old, them love it. Spring it chewy with better aroma. Rich with real chicken essence.
Supreme noodles boom boom, supreme noodles boom boom. Sit up, supreme noodles. Supreme noodles boom boom, supreme noodles boom boom. Sit up, supreme noodles.
Sit up Supreme Noodles with real chicken essence.
Supreme noodles boom boom.
Sit up, supreme noodles.
Brand new from Airtel.
I know they fear. Cause I know it's more than enough for me. Ocean no fit finish. Highway no get limits. I have all I need. Data unlimited. Data unlimited.
To enjoy unlimited data on your devices, visit airtel.com.ng/HBB.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Oh, the only detergent that keeps me bright and fresh. I know they waste time to wash. I thought my clothes have the best, so why go less? You can't wash a lot with a little Viva. Use Viva. Don't waste your time, don't waste your money. Use Viva. Viva, oh Viva. I love my Viva. Don't need no other. I love my Viva forever. Viva, oh Viva. I love my Viva. Don't need no other. I love my Viva forever. Viva, I love my Viva. Don't need no other. I love my Viva forever.
Viva detergent, a quality cleaning powder from Aspira. Babe, I am so sorry. I know I was wrong. I promise I will never do it again.
Don't let low airtime block your romance. Buy a new MTN SIM to enjoy 2,100 naira in airtime for 2 months, and with MTN Better Gist, you'll get 3 minutes extra for every 6-minute call you make. MTN Better Gist is also available to all existing customers. To join, simply dial *123*2*1# or text PG to 312. T's and C's apply. MTN, what are we doing today?
That's one now. What kind aroma? Wait, Totorini. Wait till you dey cook, sef.
This na my secret for make better food for my family. Sedap Supreme Noodles.
The taste na elele o. Wetin dey inside?
Na the real chicken essence wey dey inside o. That's na the secret wey dey inside Sedap Supreme Noodles.
Our delicious noodles wey dem mix with real chicken essence wey get natural goodness and dey make chop time dey jolly jolly for all.
Be Supreme Nigeria.
People and politics, providing the alternative voice within the democratic space.
All right, welcome to the interactive part of the program. Hello, good morning.
Mr. Ben, Peter, good luck.
Thank you for joining us. Your name and location.
This is Comrade Elijah Denwala calling about this morning. Mr. Big Bonnet,
Go ahead.
Okay, let me talk about this TBT that Abia State has come out to issue statement that they will arrest them. Just like Mr. Bonnie said, I know that everything that has advantage must also have a corresponding disadvantage. But if you ask me, I would say that most of them are qualified. The only thing they need is in terms of improvement and more training, so that they can also operate. Most of them, they don't have any other thing to do it. They are using it to train their children. And it has been here before now. I can also attest to the fact that some of these hospitals do refer these ladies, pregnant ladies, to these traditionalists, where they will obtain either herbal drug. There's what is called Epanwa. Most of these women listening, they are my They go there, but if it's in the hospital, they will now put it under surgery. And paying for surgery this time around, I know it cannot be quantified with human life, as high as 500 and 600,000. But these traditionalists will handle it in a way that the lady will give birth. And before they go to labor room or favor room, as the case may be, they will check to know if the lady can be able to deliver by herself or send that person to hospital. And the government also should come up, establish more hospitals, affordable ones. That's what I have to say. I'm not against what they're saying, though, but they should rethink, because they're coming from public sector now. As in, the people are complaining about it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, comrade. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Magic FM.
Thank you for joining
morning,
us.
Ben and the Big Bonnie. My name is Uche Nesina. Let me react this morning. I think the Abia State government is not being realistic. in the sense that there is no normal human who sees a good hospital facility being in his locality that won't take the wife, or the wife won't like to go there to deliver. I think most of these things are not important. Provide the good governance. Let it be visible to the people. Let it get to the grassroots. The people knows good things. They will go for it. Let it not just be like the one you said you built 51 school with 54 billion. That is nowhere in Abia State. So we need visible things we can see. Where the government getting down to the grassroots. Secondly, let me react to what is happening in Enugu State. I think those trying to stop the governor not to join APC is doing it for their own selfish interest. But where they have good understanding among the leaders, it can also have a smooth joining. Why I'm saying this? Because the Southeast cannot be in opposition at all times. To get the level of infrastructure and development the zone has been denied for years. That is my contribution. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you, Uchenna. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Ben, I'm Bonnie.
Thank you for joining us. Your name and location.
Yes, my name is Engineer Adidas. I'm calling from Abba.
Go ahead.
In as much as I want to talk about Governor Peter in Enugu State. I think for me, it's quite disheartening that I would just like, let me make, just like our dear Governor Alex Oti is. If Alex Oti had been in APC, me personally, I wouldn't have voted for him. That is for me, I'm not saying for any other person. But I don't see the reason why, after going out to vote for a particular person because of what I think he has or what I think he can do, after winning, few years into his administration, he would decamp and then go to a party that maybe myself, the electorate, will not want. And this is also a wake-up call to our electorates. Go get your PVC now. If a particular leader or governor or senator or whoever it is that is that is in a particular position that you voted for in a particular party and he passed, now because he thinks he has assumed office and he decamps to a party you don't like, use your PVC. Yes, maybe sometimes after election they do their selection, but use your PVC. That day on the election day, go massively and vote against him, so that he will, even if he has done all the good work, so that he will know that not the work he has done that you are voting for, but because you don't, like me, even if I see Jesus in APC as an APC candidate come 2027, I will not vote to that person. This is me or not to you, not any other person's opinion. Thank you. I still remain Engineer Anders.
All right, thank you. Hello, good morning. Hello. All right, do call back. Let's take a look at the socials now. Gabriel Olata says everything that happened in Rivers State were illegal, and if the sole administrator Ibaz has refused to be accountable to the Rivers people for the 6 months he was there, I don't think anyone can question him, because questioning him also means questioning the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, who is their boss, and also means questioning Mr. President, who ordered for the legality in the first place. Okay? Chibuz or DMS Ekwemu. Fubara returning is a good one, but I see Fubara joining the APC if he's to win in 2027. Rivers State is APC, and if you cannot beat them, you join them. Okay? Prince Law Shekina, the powers that be have succeeded in stripping Governor Fubara of whatever political structure he possessed. He should have been smart enough to know that since Wike was working for Mr. President under an APC government, he could deploy that sphere of influence to bring him to his knees. Now he's a lame duck at the mercy of all relevant political structures. Mazi Zubi Madueke, Governor Fubara returning to Rivers State, will thank God. Prince Eliyahu Ochieze, Fubara fooled himself because of greediness and enviness against his boss. He's lucky that they did not impeach him. Ebinwa Simeon Onyeji, democracy is dead in a country where a president does what he likes regardless of the constitution. Ibas has enriched himself by, well, do you have evidence to show that he looted Rivers money? Well, you said goodbye Ibas. Nobody has the power to probe you as far as Tinubu and Wike are involved. Awukana Maxwell Wokoma, Rivers State House of Assembly and their sponsors could not allow Governor Fubara to do his work. Why are they carrying over what they bargained for? Okay, I guess you meant why they crying over what they bargained for. Ibas is untouchable because he's not answerable to them. Nnamdi Christian, Fubara returning to the government house is a welcome development. Let him continue from where he stopped to give Rivers people democratic dividends. Also, Francis Omaganamani, the northern governors should stop pampering and romancing bandits, okay, on the ground of peaceful negotiations or amnesty. Mosu Orwell Madagu, even NLC works more in the night. Banning native midwives is good, but let the proprietors employ trained midwives, even if it means retired ones. Okay, valid point. Kindomite HFLachi, thank you. Ifeanyi Wachuku, thank you. Let's take a look at the WhatsApp platform now. Honorable Chief Uchechi Okoronkwo, Nigeria is in turmoil and Tinubu is busy celebrating his wife's birthday. This indicates the level of insensitivity of the president towards the plight of Nigerians. Pastor Law Alfasi from River Layout in Aba, a behemoth and cancerous power brokerage holding River State to ransom and trading the political and economic fortunes of the state, has succeeded in reducing the governor to a mere lame duck and now at the mercy of all political structures. Okay, the House of Assembly will definitely turn back and produce the list of commissioners with tacit agreements with the landlord of the state. Governor Fubara should know that in his political second missionary journey to the government house, he should stoop to conquer if he wants to complete his first tenure peacefully, because those who masterminded the state of emergency 6 months ago in his state are still much around, waiting for a little mix-up for them to show him the exit door once and for all. This is coming from Michael Adiele in Ibadan Street. Okay, Wilson Eluche, Governor Ba doesn't need to defect to APC to win re-election. They should not turn this country to a one-party state, as it is not healthy for our democracy. Their northern counterparts still remain put, and it is the southerners who are busy cross-carpeting with the likes of Akwa Ibom and Delta, switching gears already. All right, thank you. Well, that's all the time we have to spend with you this morning. We want to thank you for being part of the program. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Do well to join us for the Tuesday's edition. My name is Ben Mwatu. Have yourself a great day.
MTN Mega Billion Promo nọ ebe a site Monday ruo Saturday n'elekere 7 nke mgbede. Ọtụtụ ndị Nigeria ga-enwe ike mere nke ukwuu. Ịbanye bụ naanị ka ịpịnye star 900 hash n'ekwentị MTN gị. Ka ọ bụla itinyere ruru 100 naira ma nke karịrị ya ga-agụnyere gị ma mụbaa gị ohere ndaba mmeri. Tinye ego n'ekwentị gị taa ma merie n'ego ndende. Usoro na ọnọdụ nọkwa. Gaa na www.mtn.ng maka nkọwa ndị ọzọ. Promo a ga-adị ruo ụbọchị 21 n'ọnwa Septemba.
Start your children's day with a great taste of Ovaltine, enriched with multi-nourishment, calcium, malt, and vitamin B12 to support learning and playtime. Ovaltine, smart choice for smart kids.
Supreme noodles boom boom, supreme noodles boom boom.
Sit up, supreme noodles.